Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Fishing with Pamela. Today I am here with my wonderful boyfriend Mirko, and he's going to demonstrate something every fly fisherman should know. Mirko, what is that?
At some point in our life we get to a point where we have to do the next step, and it's a very important step, and we have to make sure we got it right because it affects everything what comes thereafter. Today I want to talk about how to tie the knot.
The knot?
The knot. Yeah, we should start with the figure 8 loop knot and then the fisherman's knot, and then I have a bonus for you that might make your life easier.
Okay.
And maybe even more successful when it comes to fly fishing.
So we get to learn 2 knots today.
And a bonus.
Okay, well show us what this first knot should look like first.
So here I got one of my fly fishing rods, right? We recently were fishing at the river, so it's a very simple setup. We have here a shooting head, obviously floating, and typically after the floating head you have a leader that could be a sink leader or whatever, right? And then you have a tippet with typically monofilament attached with a fly. So I'll show you a little bit closer how that's gonna look like, because here we have the floating line, and then it's typically attached to the leader. So and what we do typically is using a loop-to-loop connection.
Okay.
So you can tie easily loops together and or release them, and the good thing about those is the energy when you do a cast from the line is actually transported over to the loop-to-loop connection to the next line, so that allows you to get a nice cast. So plus again, because loop-to-loop connection allows connecting and reconnecting, you're kind of flexible in changing leaders or changing tip lines and so on.
Okay.
So, all right. Okay, so I've got a piece of rope here with a loop. So let's imagine this is our fly line that comes with a loop attached to it, right? And all what we want to do now is tie another loop to attach our tippet to the existing fly line. Okay, so this is the loop we have already. I put it aside and I grab another rope. So this is just a replacement of my tippet line. So this is the line I've got, right? You might buy it in spools like this, or I just grabbed one of them. It's not really what I use, but just saying. So this is the fly line I have, and now I want to get the loop in here, and I do the so-called figure 8 loop knot. So all I do is I'll take the end, make a loop like this, make it big enough, hold it nicely parallel, both sides here, and then do a simple loop first. Alright, if you would go through in now, it would be a so-called overhand knot. Not recommended, it has not a good break strength. Instead, you do this loop and then you go around another half turn and back. And then when you take a look here, you see it actually looks like an 8, you see? That's why it's called figure 8 loop knot. And then you can tighten it up. When you tighten it up, make sure the line stays parallel and doesn't cross each other, so you get a nice, beautiful looking knot. So I'll do it quickly, tighten it up here, and this is what the knot looks like once it's tightened up. And then we have here the other loop, and it's non-slip, high break strength, and does the job. I never had an issue with those loops, and I'm fishing quite for a few years, and I would still rely on those. Okay, so once we have the loop of our tippet, then we can actually connect it with our fly fishing line. So here's the loop of the fly fishing line. This is the loop we just tied. And then how connect those? Simple. We push the loop of the fly fishing line through the loop we just tied of the tippet, and then take the end of the tippet and go through the loop of the fly line. As simple as that, and then you see the loops come together and build a strong, straight connection. Okay, so now we have the loop on one side of our tippet, and now we gotta attach the hook, ideally the fly for fly fisherman, onto the other side. So this is the other side that doesn't have the loop, and we want to attach the hook here. I've got a hook here. This is typically the hooks we use here on the west coast. Yeah, fish is slightly bigger here. So let's tie it to our little leader here. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward what we do here. You simply take the end, go through the loop of the hook, through it on the other side out. So we have now the line here, and then we do 6 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go back through here where we looped in the hook, and then we simply tighten it up. So what I recommend while tightening it up is to wet the knot a little bit, because there's lots of friction that happens while tightening the knot.
And how do you wet it?
Just lick on it.
Okay.
And by wetting it enables the knot actually to tighten up easily, and the heat doesn't destroy the line or weaken the line, right? Okay, so just imagine I just wetted it, and then I slightly pull the line and tie the knot. And this is what it looks like. So, and yeah, it's a very simple knot, fisherman's knot, and gives a stiff connection between the leader and the hook, and thus keeps the fly in position. Our hook we have, this is the end of the tippet we have, the loop is on the other side here, and now we want to tie, not just attach a fly to the line, instead we want to actually tie kind of a floss fly. So what we're going to do is we take the end of the tip, we run through the loop in the hook from the, kind of the inside to the outside. It's important that we come out here on the outside of the hook, not where the point is. So once we are here, we need enough line to make a nice loop here, come all the way back, so like this. And then we have here a big loop along the shaft on the outside of the hook. So now what we gotta do, we hold the loop and then we wrap this line about 10 times around the shaft. 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay, so now I'm running out of line here, so let's assume I did it 10 times, and now I push the end of the tip through the loop I still have here. Alright, so I show you here, I go and put this end through this loop, and now I tighten up the loop. Alright, so this is actually a very simple knot how you can attach in general a hook to a line. But before we tighten it all up, we want to attach our floss. At this point we still have here a slack and we can pull it up a bit and have a loop. And that's this loop here allows us to attach the floss we have. I'm just using here a paper sheet as for demonstration purposes. Yeah, you just run the floss through this loop and then you tighten it all up, and then it's attached to your fly line and attached to the line. And yeah, this is your floss fly. And I show you, this is just for demonstration purposes. We do not actually fish here with paper sheets. And yeah, so this is how it's then looks like in real life. It's kind of a feasible type of fly to fish for salmon. right? And if you feel at some point you want to have a different type of floss, then you can loosen up the knot a bit, pull the floss out, stuff a different floss in there with a different color, let's say chartreuse or whatever, that's also very popular. Tighten it up again and then keep fishing with a different color. Okay, Pamela, so just show us what was the final floss fly.
Well, you
knot.
do this, and then I think you do this, right? You just wrap it around a bunch of times. And then you can kind of just push it through here. And then add your toilet paper over there, right?
Alright, it seems tying the knot is not for everyone.
Well, thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of Fishing with Pamela. I hope you learned something from Mirko sharing all his knowledge and expertise about fly fishing.
Okay, now that we have tied the knot, let's go fishing.
Yeah!